Hi everyone, welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios and Tag Tuesday. And we're doing Christmas in July, so you know what today's tag's going to be about. And the reason I have this piece in here, left from our Christmas card on Monday, is because this is what I use for the base for the tag. It doesn't have to just be a card front. And one of our viewers suggested that these would also work great if you wanted to place them strategically on your card front and draw in lines, and you would have Christmas ornaments or do a garland with them. And I thought that was a really cool idea too. So thanks, Tara. Okay, so we started with this. And this is where I wound up. And let me get a card underneath that so it shows up a little better. There we go. Oh, maybe not that one. What have I got over here that's dark blue? Christmas green, something. There we go. That shows up much better. And what I did was I used the Santa face, and I've got to clean my stamps yet. This was from the November 2022 paper pumpkin. And I used the Ho 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 from the October 2022 paper pumpkin. And I cut him out. Sorry, went brain dead for a minute. Don't mind me. I stamped him, and here's a tip. If you're going to stamp something and you want more of the color to blend in when you color it, do not stamp in black. Stamp in a softer, like a brown of some type, very soft brown. I use Tip Top Taupe from Stampin' Up. I've also used one of our suede colors. I've used gray granite. I've used Sahara sand, a light smoky gray. Works great because it doesn't stand out quite so stark against your colors. I colored it using Cherry Cobbler in both light and dark from Stampin' Up. I also used light petal pink for his face, and I used light Rococo Rose for his nose. Now this one is a little different. I stamped the Ho Ho Ho, then I colored in just the H's, and then I used the Snowfall Accent Puff Paint. And let me show you what this Accent Puff Paint does. Let me turn my glue gun around so I don't knock it off. And get me a piece of scrap cardstock here. This will work. This is Snowfall Accents from Stampin' Up, and if it's still available, I'll check. I'm not sure if it is or not. But I've also purchased something very similar from Maddie at Spectrum Art Creations. But you put it down, more in a thinner line, but I just had this upside down and it come out really fast. So let's do a snow line, do a snowflake, and yeah, that's my version of a snowflake. Go for it. And then you come back in with your heat gun, and see, it's very liquidy. Very liquidy. Come back in with your heat gun. Remember to let your heat gun warm up a couple of minutes. And then you heat it and you think it's not doing anything. You think it's just trying to run it around. You think it's becoming part of the background, but watch the magic. So the O is it's starting to pick up. Watch how fuzzy it gets. Isn't that cool? Let me slip this over onto my foil covered board, so I'm not holding that with my fingers. Okay, and then let's watch this here. Now the thicker line you have, the longer it's going to take, but it gives it a fuzzy sweater look. Look at that. Isn't that the coolest thing you've ever seen? If this is still available from Stampin' Up, I will link it down below. And if it's available from Spectrum Art Creations, I will link that as well. I'm going to set that over there out of the way, bring our tag back in. I've also used this ribbon from a past collection from Stampin' Up, and I layered that on there to bring in some of the green. We've used this Merry Christmas ribbon before, again, a retired Stampin' Up. Now, it needed something, and I couldn't figure out what it needed. Then it dawned on me, I needed some lace. I needed lace. I either needed lace or I needed metal. Well, I had the metal when I brought the bells in, and I'll talk about them in a minute. But I had this wide bolt of lace that I bought at Hobby Lobby last fall maybe, or earlier this year, that still needs to go into my shop. If you purchase this, please be careful, because when you snip it, you're snipping the threads on the back, and then all your sequins will pop loose. What I may do before I put this in the shop is I may go through and run a light patch of glue across there and seal those threads so that that doesn't come apart on anybody. But it just looked kind of cool over there, sparkly. And then for the bells at the top, I used some of my white organza ribbon at the top, the sheer ribbon. And this was a really wide ribbon, and I just cut it down the middle, split it up. And then I tied it with this gold trim that I've been using. And then I hooked on some bells. Now these bells, it's a shortcut. Yeah, you can make your own bead bell dangles. And you know, I have enough bells to do that with. But this was part of a pair of earrings from off of the clearance, or the markdown, at Hobby Lobby last Christmas. And I just figured out about where I wanted to separate that, and separated the jump ring and attached it back onto the top, kind of hooked it into that gold threading. And that's my Christmas card. It was that simple. Went together really quick. Well, I say it went together really quick, except for the fact that I had all this done and I couldn't figure out what I needed to do for Santa. And you'll notice I did that puppy paint on his beard and on his the knob on his hat and on his hat brim. I did not do his mustache because I didn't want it to blend in to the beard and the hat. So this kind of let the mustache stand out a little bit more. So that's our tag for Tag Tuesday. Are you working on Christmas? I am, and I'm having so much fun this month. Tomorrow I have a show and tell Q&A video. I've had a couple of questions that I wanted to answer, so I decided instead of putting everything on the community tab for tomorrow, I have a short video for you tomorrow. And then Thursday, we'll have our color challenge project inspired by artists. Friday will be on the paper pumpkin. We'll have a sack Saturday and no video on Sunday. And as to the premiere on Friday, may or may not be a premiere. Bob comes home Wednesday. He has a doctor's appointment on Thursday, and I'm not sure where that's going to put us the rest of the time. So, if it says premiere in the subject line, you know to meet me at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time over in the chat room on Friday morning. So keep an eye out and watch those subject lines, because little tips and tricks and surprises and hints come through on those subject lines, so pay attention. I will see you back here tomorrow for Show and Tell Q&A. Creative Christmas blessings.